Hey everybody, it's Patrick of the Pitch Tech. We are here with a Verdance versus Vynnset game. We actually recorded this a few days ago, so it's been a while since I remember what exactly happened, but it was definitely a lot of pressure coming from the Vynnset in early games, so we're going to probably talk about that the most. So here, I'm actually filling up my graveyard a lot more than I would initially do, but this just happens to be where I can get a lot of amp discard. That's why we have it in the deck. So we can probably just select all of these here. That's, I think, the best option. They have only AB2 instead of AB4, so they like their tunic, which could mean that they might be a little bit more aggressive with creepers to guarantee that they stick around for at least 1 or 2 turns there. But we're just sending in 3 damage, which should be a 1 poke type of thing. So with Ravenous Rabble, it might speak more that they are going to be getting more aggressive. So the Funeral Moon just so happens to be in their hand at the time, unfortunate. So this could be a 2-gate or a 3-gate, depending on what exactly their hand allows them to do. And then they can also just hardcast, quote unquote, the gate as well. So they are going to go with Deadwood Dirge, and they can effectively cast this for free. So here, there's no crazy shenanigans for go again. So here we are just going to gain 3. Now watching this back, I don't know all the specific details, but I wish that I think the best thing is to actually pitch that, since it really isn't. I could probably pitch the sigil plus the blue towards all of the arcane, and then probably sink below. That would be my guess. But effectively, I'm gaining 2 this way instead of pitching. Like, it would just basically mean that I'm playing for a longer game, the way that I was thinking about last time. That I don't particularly care about losing a sigil, but watching this back, I think the best way is to just pitch the sigil. I know it's I'm losing 2 value, but I'm playing for a longer type of game. So so they want to crack. If they are doing this, that's aggressive. So they would have a shadow spell to guarantee that it goes away, but which is fine, because right now we can't particularly guarantee that we can banish or decomp effectively. We're just not having the cards right now. I think it was just clunky in the beginning here. As we can see, we pocketed with not that many earth cards coming in towards our hand here. This is a different type of style of Verdance that I'm trying with Censor. I don't know if I have Life for Life in there just yet. Of course, they do have Succumb, stripping out some cards here. This would be fine. I think watching this now, I would just sink below something that I don't particularly care. This was a full hand keep. That's why I wanted to keep this for a 9 damage scar. But hopefully I toss this Surge, which would feed into the graveyard for Earth. And I can keep the Scour if I really care about that. So I guess I value the Scour, which just does not make sense, because I can't effectively cast the... Oh, no, they're the ones that... No, that makes sense. That makes sense. They're the ones that choose it. So sinking the Scour probably would have been a better way to go, so that I keep it in my deck. But yeah, keeping them off of the Rune Chants. They do have the... they do have the 1-cost Rune Gate. The name escapes me off this at this point, but which should be fine. So we get that to be towards our count. Let me just toss this for 4. Get some damage in. They can't effectively get 3 rune gates, which is why the red rune gate Deathly Well is going to be tossed in front there. So there's a reason why this deck probably, and this game in general, was clunky all the way through. I was playing with 24 earth cards and I had 5 root bound, so I'm trying something differently. So that's probably why this game was a bit of a headache in the grand scheme of things. So they're just going to be sending 1 arcane. So I'm pitching this. I don't necessarily need the ramp just yet, and I could probably block this out with that. I probably could just use that for my turn, but I'm probably wanting just to make sure that my ability is turned on, because they have the eloquence token here, so effectively turns off the eloquence token. It stays around for whatever turn. The eloquent eulogy can sometimes it's like they don't need it, but of course they burn it, so we get the go again anyways off of a go again on attack. So we got lucky there, allowing the eloquence token to be burned, but it's one of those things that we can probably watch out for. So we do guarantee that the banish is happening off the top via the rune gate ability. So checking graveyard. I don't have this talk through that I'm doing. I don't have it in the background, so I don't know exactly what I'm thinking here. So checking, always double checking the earth count. Gaining 2, which is because it's going to hit no matter what, which I could just probably, there's another succumb, so we're getting robbed again of another card that they want to effectively get rid of. So I wanted to go up to 3 earth so that I'm at 4. So 2 back-to-back succumbs when I'm trying to get some type of tempo, and I can't because the hands are clunky. So again, that's probably just me trying out this new deck type of version where I do have Life for a Life, but I think if you're having Scar for a Scar, I think Scar for Scar should replace Life for a Life, but it's just a different type of a build that I'm trying. So I think the only way that you can make Life for a Life and Censor actually work is if you do have Ring. Sorry about the ping there. If you heard the ping, that was my Discord. So we're coming in for 6 here. So I think honestly Tunic is up, and that's probably why I'm keeping this Life for a Life. And then pocketing the Summersfall because I can probably decomp later on. So it's going to happen no matter what for getting the double rune chance at the end. They are taking one blood debt. Gaining the life and passing. They know exactly what's in their hand via succumb. It sucks when you have to battle between 3 different decomp cards here, which is what we have. We've already seen 2 succumb, so this could be just a setup turn with a lot of arcane coming through. So they are going to be effectively turning our turn off. So we're going to get all 3 of these here. What I probably could do is keep the threat of failing in our deck, but we're just taking 1 more arcane to do that, which I think might be fine, keeping our threats condensed. But I effectively just have all 5 arcane prevented. And then the double block here. There was a potential of me thinking the spellbound, which is understandable. I think that's something that they wanted to probably get into. So effectively, I am protecting against 2 more damage. So because I pitched 5, they are doing it that way. So now we have Eloquent coming in probably here. Yep, Eloquent Eulogy with 3 arcane. So they're kind of like IPing themselves to be able to probably play around these creepers, which is why I said beginning that Tunic is a thing. They want to be more aggressive with their creepers because they have so much rune chant production via the Deadwood Dirges, as well as Malefics. I think they had yellows, if I'm not mistaken. So they're giving up a little bit of the shadow, unpreventable ping through the Vynnset ability to be more aggressive. We won't be able to play anything here. Which kind of blows. We may have to IP. I don't exactly know. I think preventing all the arcane to keep creepers dead would be great, but they can just use it. But then it just depends on if they can creepers on a turn that they do have a shadow card to pay through the Vynnset ability. So I think also just letting this hit is fine. I think pitching 2 of the... So they are aggressive with their creepers. They want to make sure that it's dead. Revel in Runeblood does allow them to get their action point back. They will be getting the Eloquence token because it's going to be just too much damage. Not effectively having the... So they do have another Succumb that we can play around. So that's the last one. They were going to probably just strip another card out of their hand, so they get the action point back via that way, and then they would probably do the same in line, maybe, because I can't effectively see how they would going to play that card out. They don't have any rune gate in the banish zone, so it's probably going to be the exact same thing no matter what, if I took it all or not. And then this is why there's just so much damage here in the beginning here. I think I have to take this to be able to have some type of value. Going to 10 or 11 is pretty scary, but if they just take the 6, then we'll be happy with it, because that means creepers is a lot more... it's harder for them to get the arcane to pass over. Or maybe either way we're happy. The Eloquence token does happen to pop, so we'll go ahead and bottom. I could bottom the Eloquence, which I do. Probably value that a little bit more because it means a less go wide turn, which can burn the creepers. So that's one thing I could do. And then effectively they're just making more rune chants off of Malefic, and then they're just a less go wide turn. So that's probably the better of the... Yep, so they do end up playing yellows, so we can just make sure that the creepers die this turn. So the rune chant generation is crazy here due to these auras. I believe my Tunic is coming up. So I can block out. Thinking probably on the E-Strike and Tunic, which could be a thing, but I think Tunic is a better play because it's a one resource 6 into probably Warmongers or Sin 7, either way. It's a little rough to have this breakpoint to guarantee it. I think this is the last one, if I'm not mistaken. So effectively be blocking the 3 that we're going to be, quote unquote, blocking. It's an awkward breakpoint. That's just how it is. So it's the on hit doesn't matter. It's just the damage I don't want to try to prevent. So I can effectively get that back and plus more damage. So hit all these pings, which is hopefully something they want to keep. And which is really nice is being able to play this Warmongers when they do have the Eloquence. Like they may want to have a turn to force something. I was curious on the E-Strike. So this is actually something I was thinking like maybe I can look back and see if this is the correct decision. They do have the Eloquence token. It could matter. They don't have creepers. They have Malefics online where they could just give out 2 more rune chance, and they effectively don't have. It could be a double rune gate turn, so it could be a setup and they just ping themselves for 1. So there's chances of me doing the correct play here. I mean, 7 damage is only 7 damage, but if they effectively make it to where it turns it off, then we should be fine. They choose War. And then setting up with Bounding, which could indicate that they do want to, because they're passing here. So they're just passing, which is nice, that we could actually... they do keep their Eloquence, so they want to make sure they can use it. And then they gain another rune chant. So Annihilation could be possible next turn, since they're up to 3. Or I think they're at 4 right now. So a bit clunky in the beginning. Looks like we're kind of stabilizing slightly here. I don't think that Ring was... It's coming at the worst time here. So we definitely want to do E-Strike. We do want to get the ping from Heart, which is nice. That'd be awesome. But Sensor also can help us out, and it just depends on what we can read into what they wanted to do last turn, because it was a bit sus to just hold up 3 cards after banishing, and they want to abuse this Eloquence token. So a quick double check of the graveyard allows me to kind of effectively think it out on what I kind of want to send for these sensors. It's a bit of a thinker for sure. That's why I let the opponent know that it's a bit rough. We have Bounding. We could say if this hits, you don't play Bounding. So it's another value towards it if they let it hit. It's because it just means that they can't play it. And then chances of me getting the correct choice through what I've already seen and what they want to abuse is a lot lower than just seeing a face-up card that they want to play. So it just gains a little bit extra value if they let it hit, of course. So a no on hit type of thing here. Interesting. They want to do that. They may not like their arsenal. I can't remember if they don't do anything here. No, they don't want to do anything, which is a questionable decision for sure, because it's just raw damage. That means that they particularly don't want to go to too low of a life total. 15 seems to be scary for them, for what they think. So we're looking at all the non-attacks that we could hit, or just any type of cards, because non-attacks is something that they want to keep the Eloquence token for. So we're kind of thinking on the lines of Revel could be a thing. I think we've seen only one. So higher chances for that to help out would be good. They don't have creepers to creep it out, but there's also Tusa comes down. I think 2 of the shadow puppetries are down. So we double check again, seeing what they could do. 2 Deadwood Dirges are down. Double go again is something that doesn't always work out. It's just basically what non-attack do you want to play. So we do go with a Revel turn because they want to make sure that they want to keep us, to kill us this turn with only just an armor block and letting us hit. So I think I do the correct decision with Revel and Runeblood being the guess here. Always double checking, always triple checking. Of course, it's faster on Talishar, not necessarily in real life. So doing this in real life would be a pain in the ass. So we're just going to name Revel. They do have the Deathly Well coming in. So they want to pitch, and we got lucky, really, really, really lucky that they had a Revel in their hand and they can't play it this turn. So they have to pitch it. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have another one just stashed in their arsenal for later. But we are getting a little bit of stabilization here. That's for sure. So they are paying into it, looks like, for their health. They are. They've only got 1 arcane, which is interesting. There is potential that you could kill. It just has to be the right type of way for you to kill, the right type of hand and things like that. So there is no go again, just a big tall attack, and they are going to be taking 1 more damage towards the Bounding Demigod to stay in there. So that's 6 arcane. We only have to effectively block 5. So we could take all 5 and then double block, or just we could send Censor. So we could just effectively block 3, quote unquote, with the sigil on our turn to get extra value because we're have the ability turned on for Verdance. But it is coming in through 9, 4-9 here. My phone going off there, sorry about that. So effectively, we do want to keep this to go too crazy. I think that is something that we missed, is that this hand really doesn't do much. We would have to take a good bit to let the Censor come in for an additional damage. For additional damage on the Earthwar Surge, I don't think it's worth. Only blocking 4. There's 5 coming through, and we effectively are blocking. We only take a little bit here. We're going to gain the life back. Censor will be in there later on. It just depends on what we care for, what they may want to use. We can effectively say the Bounding Demigod can't be played next turn. That is a possibility. Tunic with the Censor is the best, but I think just sending the sigil here is probably the better play of the 2 rather than just pitching it. We gain 4 value for free, and they don't know what's in our arsenal. So rather than potentially 5 value, and then if they let it hit, it'll increase. They do care about the ping. Maybe they just don't have the go wide that they want. So they want the ruin. This hand's pretty good. We effectively cannot stop this turn. They do have the go wide ability, so that's just what I'm thinking on right now, is that I could potentially stop everything here. We do want to make sure that we at least full block the ruin that comes in for 6. We could scour. That's kind of what the consideration is. We are 1 resource short. It doesn't necessarily mean that the turn is totally turned off because they have bounding in their arsenal. So even if we did go with a scour, they can switch it up and not necessarily turn off their turn, and we'd just be dead, I think. With how much rune chance plus this plus flail, they'll just kill us. So we can't do it even if we want to. So we just go ahead and pitch everything here, because there could be another rune chant coming in later on. But we effectively block out the 6 rune chants that are coming through. E-Strike to block out the rune chants gained through Mauve is the best way. We have to overblock, which is completely fine. We want to make sure that there's probably the last to come is not being used, but we did see it pitched earlier because 2 was played at the very beginning, plus the last one was played with the Deathly Delights mid game. So remains to be seen if they care on what we do for censor here. If they don't want us to turn off a potential turn or a card they could block, we can probably guess enough with the face-up bounding that they are taking constant blood debt damage to prevent, but they still block it out anyways. That's the last revel that they have. Or, well, there was one pitched in the beginning, so we'll see that later on, but more likely that the chances of it happening is not going to be very good. No arsenal, which is pretty nice to see that they're just going to block with the annihilation. Bit of a refresh problem there. They do want the Deathly Delight to gain a little bit of life back. So effectively, it could be a red. It could be something. We will be struggling slightly with this. We're 1 resource. We are 1 resource short. Bit of a tongue twist on lethal, but that's if they have no cards in their hand. So we could effectively take the 2 and block 1 card, and then potentially send just felling, but we have to tuck a card, so I don't know if it's just sending felling is naked would be the best, because we can just effectively get the pitch 2 of those to the rune chants. We could use them. We only have 2 during aggro matchups, which is, this is considered aggro. This is lethal. We can effectively just decomp if we care. I think that is a potential better play. We let this go through. We could probably just hit block on felling. Maybe we can think on just having the ramp in our arsenal for later. There's multiple ways that you can go about this. So we just let these hit, block 1 card, take 2 damage, go down to 1. Playing around anything that could be a surprise, which could be Cull. Cull is also something that they could have, and we haven't seen it yet. The only reason why you would want to play the open format CC is to test some things like this. Don't know why I'm using Tunic here. This doesn't like keep me alive if I was at 6 or a 5 or whatever. And I can't kill with like Heartbeat of Candlehold either. With Rampant Growth. Because that's 4 into 7. Because I'm amping 4 and then the moon is for 3. The better play would have been... Yep, there's another Cull, so there is a Cull there. So we have to banish a card. I think we should be banishing the Rampant Growth, in my personal opinion. Now that I'm seeing this, just sending Felling and then decomping should be fine. Double checking the graveyard, but I think it, because I can't really do anything with my hand here. The value, I should not be banishing. Oh, I don't think I can decomp, can I? No, we can. We can. We had 2 cards there, so... Getting rid of these Felling is not correct. I don't know exactly why I'm hovering over that. Yeah, there you go. Sending the Felling is the best value. I think we're making sure that the ramp could be an option for Plume, but I think the best possible way of getting damage is making sure that if they block everything out and we make sure that they tuck a card, that we can kill next turn through Waning Moon and a potential for Arcane Spell. They just have to involve Sigil with 1 Rampant Growth. And it had to be like a zap with a Waning Moon, so that'd be the only way you can kill, I think. 4 than 3? No, we are not going to kill with that either. So they do want to block out. Yep, this hand effectively doesn't really do anything for their turn. Depends on what they want to do in Arsenal. They will be taking 1 Blood Debt because of this Bounding never being released. They could just play... Oh, I don't think you can actually play it. You'd have to play a non-attack, that's right. Which means that it could be in their arsenal as a non-attack. It is an attack, basically, because they can't clear a 0 cost, like non-attack action, which is nice. We can't decomp, looks like. Which is probably what I'm considering for playing the Pulse. I think we're just only having the Felling. So I could probably just play Pulse, get it back. Play the Pulse, ping. It's 1 Arcane. Put it in the bin for our turn, so we could probably effectively kill next turn. So yeah, that's probably what I'm doing. And then Waning Moon here for an additional arcane damage to make sure we get over, because they only have AB1. A bit awkward with 3 reds here. Having this amount of rune chance. They do want to play a non-attack so they can clear this Bounding that's been pretty prevalent for a long time. We do have an attack that we could play, so we can probably block this out pretty cleanly. Only probably taking 1 damage, so block. I could go to 4. Sorry, I'm looking at his life total. I could go to 1 here via the rune chance, just take the rune chance. And then block it out with life for a life or both. Or I can block out life and E-Strike, so I can go life for a life into life for a life into the Summer's Fall, which is probably the best. So take this to 1, double block cleanly, but instead I'm being a little bit more cautious because of the fact that there could be unblockable rune chant via the Vynnset ability, which is fine. So just going to 2 is better than going to 1, which would have been the way that I could have done if I just life for life into Summerfall. Summerfall is still pretty good. Still pretty good. They're losing value on a brand new aura, plus it is a lot of damage. And I think also that was the last pulsing into the graveyard, so I just checked having banished that, and it didn't matter the value of that. I need something to kill them next turn via arcane damage. So that one was the mistake that could possibly cost me the game. That is something that I need to consider is when to decomp and when not to decomp. So they don't have any blood debt, so they could just pass. But we end up having an actual arcane spell, so that's good. And we end up having a nice little pitch stack of blues plus rampant growth. So we end up with the kill. We could have shot ourselves in the foot there, not having an arcane spell to throw out with Waning Moon, but it's a good thing that we do have Waning Moon because this is very aggressive. I don't think you have the room to play Surgent or anything like that, but it's a good thing that we can kill here, and I'm gonna let the audio play. Okay, some definite mess ups for sure, for sure. Good game. It was widespread that he was holding on this entire time. So, it's closer than I wanted. Holy shit, that was an insane thing to come back from. That was the last thing come. I'm only having 2 of the Emeritus Goldings, so I have to track those. Having 2 pulse, I think just sending damage was fine because they actually had to pitch, if I'm not mistaken, for that one or something, maybe because it was an arsenal. So yeah, I think that was fine. Yeah, not having that last pulse off of Plume was definitely something I did a mistake on. Man, she is a struggle bus to just think on for that one. Some of these cards I'm going to have to change for the deck, that's for sure.